Unapologetically you. Three strategies to break the chains of people pleasing and own your purpose boldly. My name is Amy Ballantyne. Welcome to Power to the People Pleasers. I'm so excited to have my guest, Dr. JaNee, here. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi,
Oh my goodness, you have fabulous energy. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I know we're going to have a great conversation. And before we jump into it, I want to know, like I always do, have you ever been a people pleaser? And if so, how did that show up in your life?
everybody. Oh gosh. Firm yes, hard yes, absolutely yes. So how did Amy's laughing, y'all. So how did that show up in my life? I was a people pleaser to family. I was a people pleaser in all relationships. And that spilled over into my professional relationships as well. And it just left me empty on the inside. So I love this topic, love Amy's brand, and I'm just ready to share.
Oh, let's dig in. So, I want people to know more about who you are so they, turn up the volume even a little bit more. Dr. JaNee Mobley is a wife, mom, mentor, pharmacist, transformational speaker, coach, and published author of The 40 Days to a Better You. After overcoming financial hardship and homelessness, even with a doctorate degree, she now empowers women to profit from their purpose and break free from mindsets that hinder their progress, prosperity, and personal success. Her mission is to help women overcome self doubt, low self esteem, and self sabotage so they can live boldly and thrive. Ah, yes. Yes. As I was on your website, I was like, oh, yeah, this woman. We're meant to be in a conversation here. So awesome. So awesome. So let's jump in, and I'd like to start with your turning point. You shared with me when we first met that there was a moment when people pleasing stopped serving you, when
Mm.
it felt exhausting and no longer aligned with who you were. So what was the moment of realization like, and how did you begin to reclaim your identity?
I remember graduating from college, and I was always through life, I was always the person who was, I guess you would call, the quiet storm. I was very bashful. I was very, very quiet. I was one of those that didn't understand at the time that conflict was not a negative thing, because I grew up in a household shortly in that time span where there was domestic violence. So for me, having conversations that were a little bit harsh, I thought all of them would end up turning into something negative or turning into something that would be, horrible. So that carried me through a lot of my life. And when it came down to having conversations that I felt would make other people uncomfortable, although it made me uncomfortable, I said, for the sake of not wanting to get into conflict, again, not understanding that conflict wasn't a bad thing at the time, I said, well, you know what? I'll just submit. I'll just be the one to just bow out. I'll be the one not to stir the pot. However, I understood, even in my personal relationships, not stirring the pot left me empty.
Yeah.
Not stirring the pot and expressing how I felt and how others made me feel, then made me self-sabotage, because that's one of the biggest signs of self-sabotaging is people pleasing. It made me lack surety in myself, so it just plummeted my confidence. And it showed up and it spilled up in the way that I presented myself. The way that you see me now is not the person that I was 20 years ago. It's not the person that I was growing up. I wasn't vocal. And now that I understood the power of speaking up, the power of understanding that conflict is not a bad thing, and you don't have to please people to make people happy, I understood this, that whenever you please people or seek to please people, you show them the lesser side of you instead of the best side of you.
Mm.
People
Yes.
miss a piece of the amazingness in you when you are unwilling to submit who you truly are through vocalizing how you feel.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank goodness. Thank goodness that you've come to the other side because your message is very important,
Thank you.
right? Like
Absolutely.
the journey that you've been on, I believe that even the worst moments in our life are here to help us learn and grow and perhaps be of service to others. Of course, serve what our soul's purpose is, but to be of service to help others grow. And clearly, I'm so glad that you've come on the other side to be able to share. And that powerful message that you left there, that they miss out on seeing the greatness of you, the lesser side of you is what comes through. And wow, I really appreciate that message. And I know because I am a recovering people pleaser here, breaking the habit of pleasing others isn't easy. So, what were some of the first practical steps or mindset shifts that you took to start living a more unapologetic, focused life?
Well, number one, I believe that the core of anything requires belief. And
Mm,
creating a life that you desire, whether it's fulfillment, whether it's joy, whether it's pleasure, and I'm sure all of those amazing things, you have to have belief. And one of the number one areas that you must believe in is in yourself. I believe one of the reasons why many people lack self confidence, why the many reasons why people remain in fear and self sabotage is they lack belief in themselves, their abilities, and the power that they actually possess. So for me, the first thing was I had to believe in myself. And when I say believe, the definition I looked up belief, and one of the definitions that I found is a conviction of what you know to be true. So what did I have to do? I had to go back to understand who JaNee really is and who God called me to be. So it caused me, and as one of my friends, Detrell Hawkins, said, to go into a place of self-discovery. So I had to, in order to discover who I was, I had to believe and understand who I was. So once I understood just how powerful I am and just how powerful we are as human beings, I said, oh my gosh, I'm amazing.
mm,
Right.
yes.
And it stirred my belief. It stirred my conviction of the amazingness that I already was, but just had yet to tap into.
Mm,
And that was the first pivotal point for me. I had to practice, and it's an ongoing thing for me to constantly believe in myself, even at a greater level, because I understand, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Amy. Whenever you get to another level, whenever you ascend to another level of what you believe to be successful, that's not the stop, right? There's another level of belief that we have to grab a hold to and adopt
yeah.
and live.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many nuggets there. Um, Conviction. Just the way you say the word itself is so powerful, right? The conviction to believe in yourself, to believe. And what came up as you were saying that was, we hear so often people saying, "Well, I've got to see it first.
Mm,
I got to see the proof first." But what you and I both know, and I hear this in your words, is that part of this is we have to believe it before we see it. We have to believe it with conviction. Your words, believe it with conviction first, and then see the transformation unfolding that we believe and know at our core is possible.
can I give a perspective to that?
Please, please.
Because I was that person that it was like, okay, I got to see it first, or give me a sign. I got to see something. But here's the thing: the amazingness in the way that we were made is that we are all creative.
Mm,
So before anything was ever made, before the cell phones that we have, that we do all of the amazing things on, the laptop, the MacBook that I'm on, it started where? With a belief.
mhm,
It started with the belief before there was a physical manifestation of the devices, of even the people in your life. There had to be a belief there.
mhm,
And that belief then stirs up through the process creativity. And that belief then drives through creativity and it causes activity.
mm. Love that.
So you don't need to see it physically before you can have it. In order to physically see it, you got to see it in your mind in order to even
Yes.
create it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's yes. I there's no more words. Okay. So, you wrote this book, 40 Days to a Better You, And I understand from our previous conversation that it isn't one thing, but a series of things over time that we're doing to help us shift, to help us grow. And in your book, what small daily actions do you recommend that truly move the needle towards self worth and freedom?
Absolutely. The first thing is you have to understand that it's a journey. We want to make it a place that where we arrive to
Mhm.
success. We arrive to self-worth. We arrive. But it's a constant journey because we were never made to plateau. We were never made to hit a mark and just stay there. There's always a greater level.
Yes.
So you have to understand that that is necessary for the journey, right? So when you look at yourself, you always have to understand there's a next level to me that I have not met yet. And she's amazing, or he's amazing.
Mhm.
So for me, one of the things that I practice is every day I intentionally work on me. I have like a little sticky note on my mirror in our bathroom. And I ask myself the question because asking questions is one of the most powerful things that you could ever do in your life is how can I become better today than I
Mhm.
was yesterday? So, one of the things that I practice is I read. Like that book, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That book came out like shortly after, was written during a time that my husband and I had just transitioned out of being homeless. And the strategies that I share in that book are the mindsets that I had and I mastered to go from being homeless to being back in a place of being hopeful.
Mhm.
So what I'm sharing is not just theory. It is literally what I activate and I share with the clients that I work with. So every day my focus is always answering the question of how can I become a better version of JaNee today than I was yesterday? So it's always about asking the right questions. It's always about feeding your spirit and your soul food that will cause you to produce the things in life that you desire. So again, asking the right questions. Number 2, feeding your soul the right things. And number 3, oh my gosh, it's easier now to connect with personal development always. Like
Yeah.
I'm always turning on. I have one person because I'm one of those people. I can't listen to too many people and too many things too
Mm.
often. I can't. So I have maybe about 2 people that I listen to when it comes down to business and personal development, and I master the things that I hear. So I have learned because I used to be what I call an information hoarder. I would attend conferences, I would read all of these books, and then there was no activation. So now I'm always
Mhm.
asking myself, okay, how can I apply what I just learned?
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think that's a missing piece for a lot of people actually, right? The self-help, self-development, personal development world we have so much at our fingertips, but the missing piece is the activation. Wow. So
Mhm.
let's just recap here. So asking powerful questions. I actually think the message that downloaded to me while you were talking was we are soul sisters. Truly. Okay. Asking powerful questions. Yes. Yes. And asking yourself about who do I wanna become? How can I become better today than I was yesterday? Yes. And I love, the sticky note, all day, and, on the bathroom mirror, yes, please. You
Wow.
know, one of the other tips that I give sometimes, is the whiteboard marker on the bathroom mirror. Now, you obviously have to make sure it is not permanent marker, and if your mirror is ruined, because you don't wipe it off frequently enough, that's on you, not me. But it is a great because the bathroom, right, is a great spot where you can have that reflective time while you're, putting on your face cream, brushing your teeth, right? So good, so good. And then you talked about feeding your spirit and your soul. And interestingly, I'm working with an individual who finds himself in a situation like you were in your past, and I recommended a library card because you have access to so much beautiful wisdom for free,
Absolutely.
even in the most difficult times. But it's about the belief and then the activation, like the actual act of getting there and getting the card and getting a book out and
Yes.
feeding your soul. So I really appreciate all of what you're sharing here today. Is there anything that you would add uh, based on what we've just talked about there?
One of the things that I'll share is, and I'm so glad that Amy added to it, is the importance of activity and activation. I remember some years ago, I learned, and I'm sure you've heard of it too, the become more, the doing more, and the activity. And a lot of the times we want to see the harvest of a thing or the production of something or the results of something, but we don't want to go through the process of becoming who is necessary in order to be able to apply it.
Mhm.
So I honestly believe it's almost, if not an oxymoron, to say that I want something, but not willing to become who I need to become so that I can possess the things that I desire to have. So,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's so amazing that Amy said that because that's what I did when we were homeless. I went to the library. I
Yeah.
literally went to the Doherty County Library, our
Mhm.
local library, and I hadn't even gotten a library card in years. And I was just like, because I was so hungry to become better. Because I
Mhm.
said, there are so many people out here who went from bankruptcy to losing it all. Surely there's a missing piece that I was missing at the time. And I'm going to figure this out. I said, you know what? I'm going to the library. Every week, I would read a book, I would go back, I would return it, and I would get another book. And
Wow.
I honestly know that it was the key that helped me and my husband to transition from getting off of somebody's mattress and into our own home. It was the very key that got us out of sleeping in our car one night to actually being back in our own home. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the be do have, right? We have to become who we're meant to be in order to do the things and have what we want, right? So I
Mm,
love what you're saying. I love what you're saying. So from pharmacist to purpose strategist is quite a transformation, right?
it-
You've had this beautiful journey, which may not have been beautiful at some points. Let's just be clear. I'm not I didn't mean to sugarcoat it that way, but like your journey is a gift for others to learn from and for yourself, right? So, how did your background in pharmacy influence your approach to helping women heal from self sabotage and step into their power now?
Well, as an individual, I have found that I've always been someone who has always encouraged others. Even as a child, I was always that friend. I've always wanted people to, always wanted people to feel amazing. Well, I ended up in healthcare. I mean, why not? Now, me, I chose not to go the nursing route because dealing with bodily fluids is just not Dr. JaNee's style. So I decided to go another route and dispense medications.
Mm,
So I found that in that arena that I love the educating piece. Again, the
mhm,
speaking piece, the empowering patients to not just depend on medications, but depend on the health that you were born with and
mhm,
being aware of your own body so that you can then communicate that to your healthcare providers. Well, truth be told, graduated from pharmacy school and I felt empty. I started a job and I was thinking to myself, and I'm sure somebody can identify with this. I did 6 years in school. I think it was seven. No, it was 7 years in school, including graduate school. And I was like, I did all of this. I'm making six figures, but something was missing. It was literally, I was grateful for what I had, but I was like, something is missing. And I didn't know anything about life coaches. I didn't even know that they existed until a friend of mine was telling me that she got her certification. I'm going like, well, what is that? And when she explained it to me, I said, okay, well, I'm going to invest in a coach. So while I was working with her, it was the best decision that I ever made um,
yeah.
in doing so. And I thought, as she was coaching me, I'm thinking to myself, this is me. This is what
Mm,
I love to do. And after working with her, I literally said, you know what? This is it. This is
mm,
it. This is how I can take my love for empowering people, for helping people to improve their lives, matching it with all of what I do in healthcare in terms of teaching and educating. I was like, this is it. So I
mm.
found my place. I found my
Oh,
place. It was still a sweet journey though,
yeah.
regardless of the challenges that came along the way, because I understand that the challenges actually built me. Like,
Mm.
it made me even better today than I would have been had I
Yeah.
not experienced those challenges.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's the lens I choose to wear as well, for sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
So you help women go from profit from their purpose. So what does that phrase mean to you, and how can women start aligning with their worth and their worth with wealth without guilt or apology?
Ooh, okay. This is the perspective that I always have, because I know that there's woman guilt, there's mom guilt, there is sister guilt, those all of those guilts that we women have, right? But I want you to understand this. And this is what if you don't remember anything else that I say today, what would your world be like when you show up as your best self? What does that look like, Dr. JaNee? You are fulfilled. You are moving in the direction of doing something, not to just get paid for it, but doing something that you were created to be
Mm,
here for. How amazing would your relationships be? How amazing would your marriage be? How amazing would your children become because they've seen mom, because they've seen their wife make a conscious decision to say, I'm not going to just make money doing anything. I'm going to make it doing the very thing that I was created and put on this earth to do. And if a lot of women adopt the mindset of understanding and quit sacrificing your peace, because here's the thing, you're not peaceful. People don't understand that. I heard, who was this? I believe it was Myron Golden that stated, Dr. Myron Golden stated that people believe your energy. And it's a true statement. We can try and mask it all day long, but we all are creative beings and we all have the ability to discern. So you can say something out of your mouth, but your energy, your posture, the way that you say it, your nonverbals will always tell the truth on you.
mm, mm,
So this world would be a much better place. We as women are so influential. We are so powerful. So when you make a decision to move forward in your purpose, do you realize that everybody who supports you, everybody who loves you will then make a decision to do the same? Imagine having a family of people who are driven by their purpose. How amazing
mm.
would it be? Like,
Yeah. I can imagine that with you. Let's hold that energy, please. Let's hold that. Oh, that's a beautiful ripple effect. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Wow. So, for leaders who still struggle with self doubt
Mhm.
or they feel trapped by others' expectations, what's
Mm.
one empowering mindset shift that they can start practicing today to begin their own unapologetic journey?
One of the main things is just to focus on you. We have, all of us as individuals are very powerful, right? So when you make the focus on you and making you better, you take the focus off of them and their opinions of you or what you think. Because a lot of times we think people have opinions about us, when the reality of it is sometimes people are dealing with their own shortcomings and they're just throwing it off on you.
Mhm.
So when you focus on making you your biggest project, everything and everyone around you will change, because one of two things is going to happen with those people. They're either going to level up with you or they're going to fall off quickly.
Yeah.
Only one of the two. So make yourself your biggest project ever. As a leader, as a business owner, you are the biggest and the major structure that needs to be built. When you are at your best, everything in your life has to follow suit. That's just how powerful you are.
Mm. Love that. Love that. And what a powerful message of lead yourself first, right? Lead yourself first. uh, that that impacts your business, impacts your family. Like when you start making changes for yourself, as you're saying it, incredible results follow. My goodness, I think you and I could hang out and talk all day about all these things. Honestly, oh my goodness, so awesome. So I know you have a free audio for individuals. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for people to go grab that. But can you talk a little bit about it so individuals see why they should go grab it right away?
Sure. Everything at the root of it is all about mindset. So what I decided is I created the 5 pitfalls that women make that prevent them from profiting from their purpose, and all of it is mindset. The only difference between those who have achieved a level of success that you haven't is because their belief is just angled a little bit differently than yours. Can I share this really quick?
Please go
Um,
for it.
Okay, so we've heard mindset thrown out so often, and I decided I love understanding words because it helps me shift differently. So we know that mindset is a compound word. We have mind and we have set. Well, mind is our belief. Mind is what we know to be true. Set is just a position and a place. So mindset, when you put the two words together, is the position or the place of your thinking. It's the position or the place of your belief system. So if you want the things in your life to change, all you got to do is just change positions in the way that you think.
Yeah. Yes. It's the power of the reframe. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So
Dr. JaNee. Mic drop moment right there. Don't drop your mic though.
I won't. I won't. So I created those 5 tips with the goal of helping women to begin the process, the ongoing process of reshaping the way that they see themselves and repositioning their belief system.
Mm. So you could please go download that now. The link will be in the show notes for you. And all of the other ways that they can connect to you, the website, social media, everything will be there. It was such a pleasure, such a true
Absolutely.
pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, for having me.
And for all of our listeners of Power to the People Pleasers, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. And please stay tuned for the next episode of Power to the People Pleasers.